Hey guys, welcome to Josh from Strike. We've got Mr. the happiest man in CS himself, and CS2 and CSGO, James, i.e. Ruffleco. You guys may have seen him from DXA. Now, okay, with DXA, what's the situation there? Is it XDXA or is it DXA? DXA Exiles or what?
No, it's DXX. No DXA. We're gonna play out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And just see how it goes and stuff. But no, we're not a team anymore.
And any plans for anyone to like pick up that roster? Like, get 3 players, play together for a bit, and then pass it on to a new team? Because there's a few players available. I saw Crunchy and True Rippers. Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Good on him. I'm not sure what the plans are for the other players. I think they're all going LFT solo. They're not planning on sticking together. Which is a bit of a shame, but that happens a lot. I think we played together for a long time.
I heard Ruffle Goat in the conversation. Is that a nickname of yours?
Yeah, you're smooth talker, Josh. That is a nickname, Ruffle Goat. That is it. I think I'll be changing my Steam name.
I don't think Kyo spammed it enough in chat, to be honest. No, but actually,
Anthony's the goat. They should definitely pick up Anthony. Every team.
I've got to say the IGL's been the hardest one in particular, because I've seen 2 IGLs LFT. You got Mingovi and then you got Kyo looking for team. I'm gonna say IGLs must be the hardest role.
I think Kyo is a good pickup because he doesn't have to IGL in this team. I think Kyo would be happy just AWPing or rifling. But I think it's a very good experience and a very good level to bring to a team. Having someone who has IGL'd for a little bit of time, it's good. It brings a new mindset. It helps develop the team in the right way. Second caller, he's the GOAT. He's pretty good. I think as an IGL, he's good. Without an IGL, he'd be able to focus on his crosshair more. Yeah, it's good. I think that role doesn't define him. He can play any role, so it's pretty good.
Should we joke that he just needs a bigger crosshair and he'll just hit players?
Bigger crosshair? No. Tiny crosshairs in CS2. Maybe Anti needs a massive one. Yeah. I don't know, but personally, you need the dot CS2.
Yep.
It's not like CS:GO.
Yep.
This shit's whack.
Yep. Anyway, so let's get started with you in particular. I gotta say, I am interested a lot in your career, like when you started off, because I know you gone to Vertex and you went elsewhere and stuff like that. What happened at the start? 'Cause I believe you're on a team called, was it Jammers? I'm trying to remember what it was, or Buckets. I think it's Buckets. How did you get into CS?
Buckets. I started in Mark and Larry.
Yep.
Well, I first started by playing with a bunch of mates. I actually played with ASAP before he was on Rooster. I played with him, I think, on his first CS team.
Yep.
It was me, ASAP, Sick Player, Wagga, and Lays. I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty insane. That lineup was nuts. We won CGA. It was hype. We didn't stick together after CGA.
What could have that been, man? That's actually a pretty funny roster.
It was a pretty nuts team.
As soon as I heard Wagga, I'm just like, oh no, I remember him. He's quite a character.
Wagga is the funniest person alive. He's such a good teammate.
So he played with Damon at some point. I'm trying to remember, in Esper. I'm trying to remember his name from.
Yeah, he did. He played with Damio.
Yeah.
He's unironically such a good teammate. He's just, if you think I'm positive, he's positive. He's so good. He's someone you just hop on just to talk to you and you enjoy it. He's good.
Yep.
But I went after that to I forgot an Exto lineup, played with him for a bit, and then Brace messaged me and he said that he wants to make a team, or he wants me to play for the team, or trial, and that was with PZ, Falcon, Tham, Brace, and then me.
Yep.
I think I replaced Doris on that team.
Yep.
Shout out to Doris.
That was Bance, right?
That was close to Bance. It was Mark and Larry. And then we went into Justice. Bance came after. Bance is an iteration after. So we went to Mark and Larry.
Yep.
And then Justice, and we qualified for MDL. And then that team, we got exactly what happened, but we parted ways somewhere along the line. Brace and Peasy went to Truckers. I don't know. I think I stopped playing. I'm actually not 100% sure on the timeline. But
this is like the missing script in the timeline? You know, the silent movie in The Simpsons where it's got like Homer gets drunk and it's like scene missing.
It is. I actually don't remember fully what happened, but we stopped playing together. We were still good mates. We played together for a while. And then I ended up on like the Bance iteration, which was me, Motion. What? Not Wagga.
No, it wasn't
Let me
Wagga.
look it up. I'm pretty sure Addict was on there.
Yeah.
And Klebs. It was me, Motion, Addict, Klebs, and
yeah, that sounds right. I'd say Paddy was one of it, and then Paddy got removed.
Paddy.
Yeah, so
that was
basically.
Insane. That was a crazy roster. Bands. We played together for a little while. That was really fun. That was probably like one of the funnest times because the SG was in the SG
OP,
meta. I remember that. It was OP.
Dude,
that was
every
really
time
good.
I remember the SG meta, I remember Mizzy potentially getting an ace, but he ran out of bullets. Like he had to reload on the last guy, and like something was Sterling because it was against his Bazaar versus Dire Wolves, I think it was. It was against Sterling, and Sterling was on 30 HP, and I'm like, and it was like the end of the half as well. I'm like, this is like depression for Mizzy.
Oh, that was so fun back then. Like that Mizzy lineup was so good as well. It was like
I continue.
Mizzy,
Sorry, I interrupted.
Licky. Nah, you're all good. That was so good. Bazaar. So many good players. And it's like a shame now that they don't play, but they were so good.
Yeah, because that had Affinity. Who else did I have in that roster?
Affinity was...
There's a really good rifle in that roster that's still around. I'm trying to remember. Jeez.
Tomato, wasn't it? Who was it?
Tomato
it was someone who was actually...
I wasn't
he
him.
was... Let me look it up. He was like...
He was good.
I feel like that team, if they weren't cheating, was insane. Like they were actually... Some of those players were so good. I don't think they were cheating. But like, it was always a meme because they were so good. They just came up out of nowhere.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of it. There's a rifle in our team that's really good. I'm trying to remember now who was on Bazaar. Anyways, let's continue that. Let's continue your story.
Nah, you're good. So we played Bance, and then Brace ended up joining us at Bance. He left Truckers with Attitude. They were not happy.
Oh, they weren't happy. I can't imagine why.
They were not happy. Brace left to join us, and then the next day, Truckers with Attitude beat Renegades.
Yep.
That was when they beat them, or like the Greyhound lineup, and now FlyQuest. It was insane, and Brace was so cut.
He
was so cut that he left. Yeah, because he wanted to be a part of that win.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then he left the team, and they beat them.
Who was on that team actually? Because I know PC was on it. I know Brace was on it, but I didn't even know the other three. I know Smooth Criminals on it. I'm trying to Liam.
It was Smooth Criminal.
Yep.
JD. Do you remember JD?
Yeah, full send.
Yeah. JD, full send. Panic was on that roster to replace Brace.
Yeah.
Peasy, and then Swede, I'm pretty sure.
There we go.
Another crazy lineup.
Yep.
Smooth Criminal is like one of the best players I've ever seen.
What happened to him? Like, do you know?
I think he got bored of the game. I don't know. I think he just moved on, but he was one of the best players I've ever seen. The best clutcher I've ever seen. Yeah. He was incredible, and he just did not care when he played, which is probably why he was so good.
I was just waiting for him to join a team. So when he went looking for team, and it's like, he'll join a team eventually. Like, one of his players would pick him up because he was very good for if he was like Airborne.
Airborne.
That's right. Airborne and a few other teams. Particularly, it's like, where is he? Like, I was expecting him to be like in a team.
He was such a troll as well. Like, actually such a troll. It was insane. Bloody hell. What a throwback. And then after that, what happened? We ended up becoming...
So I know you dropped...
So we played with Bance.
You dropped Falcon.
We dropped a couple of players.
Yeah, and then you picked up Tenzai as a part of it as well, if you remember him.
Benny. Oh my God.
Sekiro God, as I call him, because he, can parry,
He was so good. Yeah. Benny was mechanically insane. I remember the next iteration of the roster was me, Benny, Tenzai, Addict, Apoc Dud, and was it Geordie? That was insane. Was it? Wait, Toby. Wait. Me, Benny, Addict. No, we didn't get Apoc Dud yet. Yeah. It was me, Tensai, Addict, Peasy, and Toby. Did I say it right? That's
5. You just add an extra player. They won't notice. ESA won't notice if you have 6 players.
But, that was nuts because then we played Chiefs in the best of 5 for IM Beijing and we beat them 3-2. That was insane. That was one of the best qualifiers we ever played.
Yep,
and like one of the highest points of my career. It was like definitely one of the funnest series we've ever played because we were trying to beat Chiefs for so long.
And you guys totally went to Beijing.
yeah. Then we went to Beijing, COVID. I am Beijing. It was so good. Oh, bloody hell. That was nuts. I got a crazy clip against Renegades in that in the main event. I got a 4K, I remember. I got a 4K in pistol round. It was nuts. I tapped them. It's in one of my frag movies. I tapped 4 players.
Yep.
Dexter was the last one alive, and I was like pumped. I'm like, I'm gonna ace them. This is it. This is the clip. And then Dexter is head down. It's on overpass. He's head down at Fountain, so I run past him. He kills me, and then he writes in chat, "Not a chance, buddy." I'll never forget it. I was like, that rat. Like, it was so funny.
Dude, I guess like Dexter's quite a character because I remember when Kraz got that knife on Ali like recently or like last season, and then Kraz killed I think it was like Leaz or Vexite, and they all just popped the knives out and went after him.
Yeah, no, they will crush your soul. That team, the amount of times they've whipped out knives at us, like in scrims and officials, it's actually insane. But no, so good. And then after that team, I believe I got E-sicked. I'm not actually sure. No, we were playing with the APOC dud.
Are you sure? So it was the snap, the E-sicked?
I got Thanos, and then zoom a year later. I joined with APOC Dud, Brace, PZ, Addict, and me. Pretty sure.
Because Addict went in and out of the roster because he went. I think he left the team, and then the second time he left the team, he went to
We removed Addict, if you would believe it. We kicked the first Addict. Vertex, second time he left for bloody Talon.
No, not for Talon. He left for that Ricky roster. I'm trying to remember its name.
Oh no, we kicked him and he left to Aftershock. We removed him for Malta, and then he played with Aftershock.
Oh, okay,
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, because then they picked him up after. After I got snapped out of there. So that roster was sick. We were so close to making international events with that roster. I remember we versed Order so many times. And we got to map 3 on Ancient against Order to go to Pro League Conference. And it's, what were we down? We were down something like 14-6 or something. And we brought it back to 14-15 their way. And I had like 150 ADR in that half. Like I was tweaking. It was good. I remember the round. I'll never forget it. I entered Ricky on the A side on Ancient. I didn't play Ancient, by the way, for like 2 years after this. I entered Ricky on Ancient. Valiance traded me. Geordie then traded Valiance. So it's a 3v3, which is looking good for... No, it's a 4v3. It's looking good for us. We're going to the A site. We then get another kill. Who was it on? Who was the other player? Doesn't really matter. All I know is Vexite and Ustillo were alive. It's 4 versus 2. I'm pumped. I'm like, oh my god, like we're going to AT. We're going to go to the conference. Like it's happening. 4 versus 2. Rick Ustillo hides in this whack spot, gets a double kill, makes it a 2-on-2. We trade Ustillo. It's a 2-on-1. Vexite ends up ninja-ing the bomb to win 14-16. And that was like...
I think I remember casting that.
That was devastating. I remember you never hear APOC Dud rage. He like full desk slams after ninjas. Oh, that was insane.
Tom raging? What do you mean? It's a meditation class. What are you talking about?
He was like, we all like crushed. We lost to them, and then we ended up removing Addict. Mulch is like great player, but in hindsight, shouldn't have removed Addict. Addict is one of the best players now by far. He is like the player in Australia. Outside of FlyQuest. I remember when he was playing
so Advance on Inferno, and it was like I think it was a 1v2 or a hold scenario, whereas he was just by himself. And just cold as ice, mate. Like, no composure,
No,
no bad movements. Like,
yeah,
just absolutely one tap to the head,
so
just did the
good.
job.
He's so good. I think we removed him. I don't know, because we just wanted to like skip a step. Shouldn't have removed him. Should have kept him on the roster. We picked up Malta, really good player. But it's like Addict is Addict, you know, and he's got such a great personality and just like just a great guy. But it happened. We played with Malta. We qualified for Pro League Conference. It was great. It was actually, that was one of the highest points of my life. When we qualified for that,
You know what's
I can't
really
explain
sad?
it.
You know what's really sad about that? You know Yuzhaping's not
What?
hosting DreamHack anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been announced that Summer's going to be in Stockholm as well.
Yongshiping was sick. It was so nice.
What do you
It
do,
was so
Yuzhaping?
cool. We just walked around. I'd never been outside of Asia. So I was just like literally looking at the trees. I was like, wow, Swedish trees. It was sick. It was sick. Just walked around a lot. It was really nice. It was just really cool to see like players from around the world there. It was just a sick experience playing in Germany and Sweden, because we boot camped in Germany for 2 weeks, and we versed Baze, Navi, G2, Vitality, Heroic, Astralis. It was so cool. It was like, it didn't feel real. I've been on a frag movie about that. But yeah, it was sick. It was sick. It was so cool. And then played the event. Fast forward, I got removed. And then I joined DXA for a while. I got removed.
Was it Arena first, or did you join DXA overall?
Yeah, I joined Arena as their coach. I joined Arena as their coach, and then quickly became a part of the active roster because they were looking for a player, and I was like, well, why don't I just play?
I'm the player now.
I had the intention to coach them, but then like, I'm so competitive. I was like, oh, after like a couple of days, like, well, I can just play. And then I ended up playing for like 2 years on and off with them, and like great guys. It was really good. It was really fun. But I never played as much as I did in the previous teams, just because I feel like time becomes more and more precious as you get older.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. It's a lot harder to balance things. I feel like when you're 18, 17, 16, like you can just play every day for like 8 hours. And like you really love it. But as you get older, it's like, damn, I don't know if I can play 8 hours today. I don't know if I'll feel good if I play for 8 hours every day for a week. Like, some people can and some people do, but personally, I don't feel good doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I still love playing, and I love like competing in competition. I'm very competitive, but it's just like the grind aspect. I feel like at least for CS, not for life, but for CS is like past me. Who knows? Never say never. You never know. But for now, yeah.
This is also my motto as well.
Yeah. It's never say, you never know. But for that period, I was playing like 2 to 3 days a week. Sometimes we play more when we had qualifiers saying, but it was good. It was good. The team was really good.
Who was in that roster for Arena before it became
Arena?
DXA? It was
me.
Daryl? Oh, no, not Daryl, sorry. I forget the best name. Is it
Jimmy?
Jimmy, that's right. Fucking hell.
Jimmy.
I don't know why I get confused with Maker, mate. Okay, I was talking about Maker's land in the backyard,
they're both beasts. They're both beasts. Yeah. Who was on that roster? It was me, Anthony, Jimmy, Neo, and who's the fifth? I'm having a mind blank.
It could be, like I say, it could be Banana or Terry, because all of them are on that roster at one point.
I never played with them.
Other than Viridian.
I never played with them.
Because that's what Monster told me. He had all of them, like all of the Art of War roster, but Eddie.
I never played with Ryan or Terry. Which is sad. Nah, we picked up Lucas. Yep. I'm pretty sure. Or was it Lucas that we picked up? I'm not sure. Maybe is
your IGL Lucas. Saying it was, and your right. guy who runs your team says it. So
it was Lucas.
So I thought that we played with the roster before Lucas. Now it's Terry. Okay, it's Terry by default.
Lucas just got boomed for no reason. I thought we played with the roster before Lucas. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, don't worry, dude. Like, I gotta say, I have fifth player syndrome where I remember all the other players, but the fifth player I always get stuck on. Doesn't matter who it is. I did it with FlyQuest.
It's tricky.
I did it with FlyQuest. I'm like, yeah, we got Liaz, we got Alistar, we got Vexite, we got Ints. Who's the other player?
I swear I always do it with FlyQuest. I don't know why.
And then I'm like, it's Dexter.
Bloody hell.
Oh.
But no, we played with Arena and then merged in DXA eventually. It was good. It was like super sick. And I feel like the players on the team got so much better, especially Kier. Kier, I think, made the biggest leaps. He definitely, I think out of everyone on the team can probably say it. He was one of the hardest workers and tried the hardest on the team.
Yep.
So I think I don't know. His mental game got a lot better, and it has become so good compared to where we started. And even myself, my mental at the start wasn't that great, and then it just progressed, got better. But yeah, very good players, and I think it was sick. It was good to see from the start to where we ended, how players ended up, and yeah, it was good. Neo Rough-Coat.
We actually got the full roster.
Wait, James. It wasn't Lucas. Wait, James, you lied. Who was it? Neo Rough-Coat, Terry, Banana Me. I never played with Terry or Ryan.
Oh,
I was just a sub. Oh, I maybe filled in for a game. Yeah. I think I filled in for ANZ Champs. Yeah. I never actually played in a team with them.
You played with the Terry and Banana duo, the infamous duo.
I remember playing Inferno, one of the maps. Yeah. It was. Oh, yeah, I subbed a bit. Oh, I beat them in Bris Vegas though. Beat that arena roster a couple of times, Bris Vegas. Do you remember that, Anthony?
The most important one. Did you beat Foggers though?
Man, I've beaten Foggers more times than he's had hot meals. That guy's an amateur. I reckon I've legitimately beaten him 40 times. I don't think I've ever lost to him.
But he still keeps trying.
He keeps trying. It's good on him.
So yeah,
he's lost it.
You have that arena roster and that DXA roster. What's next for yourself? Obviously, you started creating a bit of
India
content.
in between there.
Oh, yeah, India as well. Let's talk about India. Jeez, completely forgot about that. Yeah.
Me too. Honestly, I wiped that one.
I
went to India for.
Who else went to India as well? As Will, Yawamba, and Gump.
Will.
Right?
Yeah, Gump went as well. It was pretty good. That was fun. The players on the team, we picked them up through watching FACEIT demos. So it was pretty insane. We definitely got lucky with how great of people they were. They were great people. Who knows who we could have gotten, We were super lucky. We lived with them for 2 months. The facility we had was really good. The food was really good. Other things, it was,
How was the food over there compared to, say, you get Indian here and Indian over there? What's the difference?
Mate, it was god tier over there. It was actually insane. It was I had the greatest tandoori chicken I've ever had in my life. It was probably one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. It was from one of the shops, just this rundown little cafe thing around the corner, and they cook the meat on the grill, just in the street. It was. Dude. Josh, it was the greatest meal I think I've ever had. The garlic naan, butter all over it. It was the chicken they brought, our whole bloody tandoori chicken. Oh, so good. Don't even bring it up because
flights to where would you stay? What place did you stay?
It was Navi Mumbai. Okay. I'd fly back just for that meal.
Mumbai. Okay. Where can I leave? My teammate. Singapore Airlines, 20-hour flights, $750. I'm booking it.
Velocity. Oh.
I'm booking it, mate.
Mate, me, you, and Velocity will go. Me and him used to go after dinner and we just eat so much. It was so good. That was.
I gotta say, I'm a slow eater because just sometimes that meal just tastes so good. It's just incredible. And yeah, it's just fresh. That's a good thing. Fresh meal, just fucking fresh chicken as well. It's just so good.
It was just. I used to have stomach problems. And I was worried about going to India because I thought I'd die. But it actually fixed majority of my stomach problems going there and eating it. I think just less preservatives, less random crap in there.
And
my stomach is the best
spice just blew up your stomach.
I love the spice. Yeah. I was in trouble, me and Will, for about 2-3 weeks there in the bathroom. But that's it. Yeah. and the power would go off, and then sometimes the power and the water would go off at the same time.
No.
And you can already imagine the toilet needs that
Yeah,
stuff to
exactly.
The toilet needs water to flush. And like we'd wake up. I'd never been so happy to see water come out of the faucet. It was so good. Have a shower. Like we played officials sometimes when like we hadn't showered in like 2 days and it's like 40 degrees sweating.
No.
But it's like we can't because there's no water. And it's no one's fault. It's just like the way it was. The power or water just go out. If they were ever doing construction in the city, the power would just be out for everyone in the area.
Yeah, it's pretty much it, yeah. Because like a lot of times in particular, like in some of these areas when they develop really quickly, like the concept of a power grid, like separate power grids, it's not there, just get it on so we can get started.
It's like, let's just build everything.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll fix it when we need to.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But no, it was good. It was good. I was happy to be back. I missed people a lot, but definitely an interesting experience. I think it was good. My teammates were legends. Velocity, Nox, and Hattie God, the goats, and Will. And I just didn't think I needed to say it. Me and Will had a great time. Or Will and I. It was really good. We shared a bed and a room the whole time we were there. And that's no joke. We walked into the room. Our manager is like, hey, like this is your bed, and I like laughed, and I'm pretty sure Will laughed, and we're like, haha, that's funny. Where's our bed? And he's like, that's it. So we were sleeping in the same bed for 2 months. It was pretty funny. So bad. But the room was nice, but it was just like, what? Yeah, and we flew back, played for DXA. It was lovely. What were you saying? What's next, though?
What's next for yourself? You go streaming content for defrag. You got that conditioning where you condition, certain things and whatnot. I watched that video a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, actually, that's pretty good. Like, pretty big thing to note as well is that the other side's picking up what you're putting down. They're like going, okay, Ruffleco's throwing a HE to Banana every round. If he doesn't do it, it's just like. Have you ever played Papers, Please, Ruffleco?
You've watched the video. Yeah, right? Papers, Please. I have.
Yeah, you know how like guys like he's got the fake passport, it's expired. It's like Ruffleco did for HE. Denied. Exactly, get him out of here.
You know something's up, bro. You cancel that shit.
Yep.
You watched the video. See, this is good.
Yeah, I watched all the videos because I
want
to get to know more basically as well. And I was watching a lot of other stuff as well, like. Also, like, the biggest fix, I was watching the Talon v Sepify game again. Talon v Rooster, okay? And I was looking at the stats, and I'm like, MHL got 12 flash assists on Anubis. I'm like, when the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
And I was just...
Pretty... Yeah.
Because I was like...
What were you saying?
Yeah, it was just crazy. Like, I was just going where it is. And that's why I've been watching these videos on how everything goes and whatnot, and how, like, players know how something's up. And
it's
how...
good.
And why it's so important to try and fake it out or keep it normal so they don't realize until it's too late.
Yeah, I think, especially with casting and just like watching the game, it's super important to understand that stuff because it makes it more entertaining for you. You get to build more of a story about it. It's super entertaining for everyone. It is one of the most important concepts in the game. You don't actually understand how much it gives away until you play, until you punish to get by it. But yeah, like Tim at Night says, was there only one bed or did you choose to share? It was one bed. We had to share it.
He had to deal with Will doing his Dark Souls rolls in the beds, mate.
I was the weirdo out of me and Will. He'll tell you that. But
Will's fair dinkum, to be honest. Will just does anything that needs to be done. Basically, he sounds like that kind of guy.
Oh, he is. He's a good guy. He'll get shit done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in terms of like what I'm doing, I'm happy to just cruise around CS. Maybe playing like a officials team. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I'm always open to like opportunities and stuff. Just seeing if they're right at the time.
Are you the 5 question mark player that KZG keep hating on Twitter?
I am not. No, not yet. But nah, I think I'm happy to sort of pursue other avenues as well. I think I'm very active. I like making the content for defrag. So I'll be making more of that, hopefully. Or not hopefully, I most likely will. And I'm really enjoying making my own videos on my channel. I think it's just really fun. It's something I've always like. I think everyone at some point, especially in gaming, is like, oh, I want to make videos. It's always something that has interested me. But when you're playing like 8 hours out of 5 days a week, the last thing you want to do is like make videos on that game that you're already playing all the time. So now that I've got a bit more time, it's like, it's actually really fun, like watching 8 demos and like going through it and seeing like cool stuff that happens and then breaking it down. And I think I do have that insight into how high level players think.
Yeah.
So that's fun to like sort of break down and then tell people. And then it's really nice when people are like, wow, that video is helpful, or like, I really like the way you explain this. I feel like that is really rewarding, and that's why I like it. I genuinely like really like it when people understand something that I've explained and they enjoy it. So I think as long as I'm enjoying it like that and people are enjoying the content and the videos, they find it helpful, I'll just keep making them, because I'm not doing it with like any goal in mind where I'm like, I have to get this many subs or this many that. It's just like,
dude, that's just a robbery. That's like a robbery of joy, basically. I told this to a lot of people as well. Like, if you're focusing on metrics, you're just doing it the wrong thing. All the top content creators, because I used to play Among Us with some of them, they're like, metrics? What? No, we just create a good story and the metrics come with it. Like, don't focus on the numbers.
I think that's the right way to do a lot of things. It's the same with CS. If your goal is to only make money or like have some sort of extrinsic reward where you have to be rewarded for what you're doing, it's like when you're struggling or like you have a really bad game or a really bad week, that's like, it's not enough to push you through it. Yeah. Just like the end reward, it needs to be because you really enjoy it. And that's with a lot of things. You will only be in the top percentile, or not even that, like the top 10 percentile, if you really enjoy what you're doing.
This is the hard part of me trying to
you want to do.
This is the hard part of me trying to wind back casting, because I really enjoy it. But also at the same time, not getting into it at the same time. But anyways,
Josh,
what sort of
you have your moment.
What sort of content are you planning to do? Because I know Foggers was doing stuff on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Is yours more of the long form, or do you want to do a bit of both?
No flame to Jaden. I can't stand like making shorts and stuff. I personally, I think I've missed the sort of gap. I like watching Instagram videos; they're a bit longer, like short videos. But I don't like TikTok really. No flame to anyone that makes those videos. I think it's like a great thing to do, and it's a good entry into that. I just personally don't think it fits what I'm doing. I like to explain things and then explain them more and then show examples behind how I'm explaining them to show like I like to do evidence-based sort of explanations, right? And if I have to cram all that into like an 8-second video, it just doesn't fit what I want to do. So that's sort of not on the cards for me. Maybe in the future I'll do some TikTok dances. Don't think so.
Mate, it'll be like where flashes and smokes go, mate. You do dances like this is where you put the smoke in the photo, then you know.
Exactly.
I am happy.
I'll go bananas, but I think there's already so many people doing that, and I think there's people that are really good at that are doing that. I personally am not interested, so I wouldn't cut it in that. But yeah, I don't think it fits my sort of goals and what I find fun.
Is it more of like, you're trying to find your own niche basically as well? You go to the market, you see the tips and tricks, and there's like 20 million different people and like thousands of different players doing the same thing. And then you're like, you know what? I want to break down like the strategy and tactics behind the game and like get it down to the basic building blocks of how to build up a team and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's like, I want my content to be relevant and I want it to help people get better. I like to have like an entry level understanding, like so anyone can watch it. I want people to beginner, medium, expert to be able to watch it and get something out of it. So I want to do like educational based content with CS, and that's just like breaking down pros sort of rounds and gameplays and what's behind the scenes thoughts and stuff. It might not be perfect because I'm not them, but what I think is right. and just like how to play the game at a fundamental level. So then you can build up your skills to get better and then become better and better and better. Hopefully they help just the bar raise a little bit and then people just become overall a little bit better. They don't need to become insane. Maybe they will, but yeah, that's just my goals. It's just like educational based content with CS, just to help people and equip them with skills and just the thinking processes that I was taught and that I learned. Yeah, because I think some of the stuff is really basic, but it's sort of like a light bulb moment when you hear it from someone else. Because then you're like, damn, like that is so. It is simple. You don't need to be a genius to understand it, but it's really helpful when you hear someone else say it. It sort of like gets you out of that tunnel vision mindset. So that is where I'm at. Just going to keep making videos as long as it's fun. But I am someone who is dedicated to what I do. So I'm not just going to like stop. I think at least I'll be doing this for like another year or so minimum. And then if it's like good, I'll just keep going. Yeah. That's sort of the long answer.
What do you think is your most important video? Because I do, like, the ones that come in my head is obviously the conditioning part. There's also how to entry and how to exit, how to pop and what's a contact play and whatnot. I remember the video of like the first guy's roll, the second guy's roll, the third guy's roll, and then the fourth guy's roll, which I think is protecting the flank or whatever it is, because the fifth's the lurk generally. Or you could even use you can even lose the lurk as a rear guard as well. But like, that video helped out a lot. But which one's your most important video that you feel that everyone should really go to?
In terms of the defrag ones, I sort of released them in a sequential order for the videos to sort of build on the previous videos. But I also released them so you can watch any of them suited to your sort of needs. I think map control and condition are just super important. Like, they're just the fundamental aspects and like fundamental building blocks of playing the game. Map control, like, people need to understand that CS isn't a game of just shooting, it's a game of like taking. The map is split up into different areas, different sides, and each team owns a certain percentage of the map, and that dictates the utility that's used, that dictates rotations, that dictates whether you push or not. Conditioning is like what you show, and it's like, it helps teams, and it will just sort of make teams look like they're walling when they're versing specific teams, because they know they throw this piece of util every single time, and when they don't throw this piece of util, it means that there's 3 or 4 on the other side. If there's a gap in their default, they're not doing it on purpose. They've literally forgot, and they're reading off a set round spreadsheet, and they're all on one side of the map. So I think those two are like super important to understand. And then understanding rotations, it like sort of builds into that. And then the other videos are like super helpful, but they sort of branch off into building on those fundamental understandings of what we previously went through. But I think if you are just struggling in general with any of the topics, you can just like look at the titles and be like, hey, I actually don't know what a pop is like compared to an execute. I'm just gonna watch this video, and then hopefully it provides some sort of clarity. But yeah, I think those two are definitely the most important to watch at the start, and then you can sort of pick and choose what you want. But I'm going to be releasing new videos soon, and then same on my own channel. I think my own channel is more just still educational based as well, but I don't specifically go over the basics. I'm sort of like at a medium level, but you can just watch it and be like, hey, that's cool, I like that concept.
It's more of a strategy and a team building exercise to realize how important it is. Because I was looking at the video where you talk about, first player, what their job is, second player, what their job is, and I think it's like the second player checks where the first player doesn't check, or is it the third player forget?
Fills in the gaps.
Yeah, it fills in the gaps, and the third player is just like the Punisher, basically. If one of the two players goes out, and he's just like, if anyone acts up, he just backslaps them to next week, basically. Exactly.
And I think it definitely is like a team builder, like this series.
And also overall, like, with long form content in particular as well, like, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's only 1 or 2 weeks, but I'm like, no, like, I've had videos of mine in particular where I made a year ago, and it's still getting a lot of views now. And I've got one video in particular, which was for Diablo 4, which was for the boss to get into tier 4. People still watch that. I'm sitting there going like, bro,
That's
like
sick.
it's so easy now. Like you could just breathe on him and kill him. But back then it was like annoyingly difficult, and I released a full guide of all those mechanics that you can do and what you need to dodge and how to dodge it.
That's sick. Yeah.
Released like
That's it.
I released like a Dark Souls boss, but it isn't a Dark Souls boss.
That's pretty good though.
But anyways,
yeah, I think that's good content. It's like something that doesn't just last for 2 weeks or a month. It's like someone can always go back and be like, hey, this video is helpful. This explains this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to link this to my new team. Because I still used to link Steel and Days videos from like 4 years ago to my team. Every iteration of my team, I'd link the same videos because they were so good.
Josh's are just so good, aren't they? Like Josh is just so good, okay?
Yeah.
Just have to plug that in there, of course.
Oh, he's nuts. Joshin. Yeah, Josh is so good.
I gotta say, overall, like, Steel's one of the best IGLs. Like, he's like the IGL of, like, all the NACS players in particular, from, like, the various players I've seen him play with on his stream and whatnot.
Yeah, he's insane, honestly. What did Anti link me? Anti linked me some arena stuff.
Oh, come on, Keo, man. First up, I think we're going to move on to our first topic. Anything else?
Let's go.
Anything else you want to talk about? No, okay, let's go to topic one.
That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Thank you.
So topic 1 is going to be this one, okay? Would Asia RBAR requirements become more restrictive, okay? So this is one of the issues I raised up in particular, because obviously the AU RMRs, there was a bit of it, obviously with Talon having 1 EU player, and obviously Simplify having 2 EU players. But I looked over to the Middle Eastern qualifier, and I looked at all the teams that made it to the top 4, which was Nom, obviously Nom, Drillers, I believe it was Onyx Ravens as well, and also Super Fuckers, okay? What a name, I know, okay? And all of them had 2 players that were from Europe in it, okay? So I'll go through a bit by bit. So Drillers had Roro and Givem, and they also had Hadji as well, but Hadji uses Moroccan citizenship to be in the team for the Middle East. And then you had Sixer and Python, as well as Striker as their coach as well, if you know him. From the CS 1.6 days.
They were on Falcons, right, as well?
Yeah, at one point. And they were in Onyx Ravens, so that's
we
came
versed
second.
Falcons when they had Striker, Pythons, Hadji. That's funny.
And then you have Super Fuckers, which had Kyojin and Han on the roster as well, with Doc using his Middle East citizenship as well. And with Nob, they had Maffy and Danny from, I think Danny was from, I believe he's from the Araya roster or Blue Jays roster. And it seems overall that a lot of these teams, and also not to mention, I should mention as well that Jijai Hal had Dennis Law duplicate from Bulgaria. And I was wondering your opinion on, like, will the Valve get stringent on these qualifiers? Because in the Middle Eastern qualifiers, it just seems like every single team just picked up 2 EU players and then went for hell for leather. The other 3 teams, I think, were all Algerian or all South African, basically.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Do you think they'll just...
I think, I'm not sure. I think it actually isn't the worst thing to have, quote unquote, like, better players coming in, because I think that will just raise the other players up and make them better. I think if that happened in Australia, if there was a bunch of EU players coming over here and then playing with our teams, I think that would just make the overall quality of the Australian teams a lot better, assuming the players are good and are decent.
Yeah.
So I don't actually necessarily think that's a bad thing. I understand what you're saying in terms of, like, them. I think it might be a little bit detrimental if it's like they're just coming in for a week and they just want to, like, play that major spot. But if it's like long term and they're actually making a project out of it and they're trying to make their teammates better and trying to play the team with longevity in mind, I think it is a good thing. And I think it does, like I said, bring up the overall bar and the quality of how teams are playing and the understandings. It stops, like, the gatekeeping of knowledge. Teams just aren't capped at what they know in their region. Like, Australia is pretty cut off from the rest of the world.
Pretty much,
I feel like the knowledge that we share can be quite limited sometimes, especially in, like, the teams outside of, like, the top 2, which I'm not even sure now. I just know FlyQuest is in there.
I can agree with that as well. Like, you know, basically with AU in particular, like, the knowledge is cut off to an extent. But overall, I've got to say, they do bring back some things in particular. A is obviously going to be always kind of like that. We only get one or two teams coming over as well. I completely forgot my point in particular, but overall, just felt like because a lot of these teams were, I suppose, puggy teams in particular. I felt they were trying to get sticker money as well, and I've got to be very shy of that in particular because you're not sure whether a person's coming over for a long term or they're just coming over to see if they can get a major spot. I mean, you had Loba's team do that not last RMR, the RMR before.
I remember Tainted
Tainted Minds. They didn't
Brains team.
They didn't make it too far anyway, so that's besides the point. But there is a lot of concern. I know Overdrive, like I say, is a bit of a clown at times, ironically enough.
That guy talks smack about drillers.
Yeah, he was talking smack about drillers. Yeah, and how basically he said that he's got 2 EU players and that's it. Bit of jealousy, I suppose, but he does raise a good point. Like are those players actually going to be there for the long term, or are they just there to make a team? And only Pixel's just happy as hell, basically. It's an interesting point. I gotta say, I do agree with your point overall. It's like if they come with just building the scene in mind, like it's kind of like the soccer players and the basketball players, obviously coming from NA and EU coming in to help out. I mean, Australia has benefited greatly from the large imports of Croatians and Serbians that have come to Australia. Obviously with Jedinak as well, Mile Jedinak, one of the top midfielders.
It's beautiful pronunciation.
Oh, I hear the commentators pronounce it a lot. I can't get it wrong, okay? I hear Kevin Muscat pronounce it so much. I'm like, I can't possibly get it wrong there. Because I remember he played for Crystal Palace back in the day, and he was like a very important player. So, that was pretty good. Yeah, the main thing I'm worried about particularly is that the Middle Eastern qualifiers doesn't become the Middle Eastern qualifiers. It just becomes who gets the best players from Europe, and that's the biggest thing I'm worried about.
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I think it does just depend on the player's perspective, what their sort of goals are with the teams. I think if teams are just coming to pug the major and they're just using that spot and they're trying to just like trample on the maybe like teams that are inexperienced, then it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But hopefully it just helps them bring up the bar and helps the overall quality get better, and those players can hold their own. And they don't. I don't know. You can still always learn from other regions, so I'm not sure. I think until Valve sort of touch on it, I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's really much I can input without saying I don't know what the goals are of those players.
I don't think Valve will probably touch on it. I think it'll be like a soft touch once a lot more people get to the Valve rankings. They can just close off the open qualifiers, so you can't do that sort of approach anymore. Because obviously Valve's goals, particularly with what the major changes have been doing with EU RMR and NA RMR, is basically like, you guys build your team for the long term. This is going to be the tournament, where you get all your money from. And we don't want like some Cinderella run to get through. We want long-term teams that are putting in money into the scene. Otherwise, you go away. And I think that's what they're trying to build. I think, these teams, I play devil advocate on the podcast if you guys want to know as well, because we're going to generate discussion. Bit of a 4-4 break, I know. But I think overall, this is just a thing that happens temporarily until the scene eventually builds up and you can't come in with an open qualifier anymore. Now, I'm going to say out of those 4 teams I mentioned, I feel like the only team that's trying to build something is Nom, because Manfi and Danny I haven't heard of at all. And the other ones seem very puggy. Even the Onyx Ravens as well, they seem very, very puggy. But Nom seems like to be the only team that I feel is legitimate out of those. The other 3 feel like they're a bit puggy, but we don't know yet in particular. If they are going to be puggy, I can be criticized, be like, you're wrong. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm happy.
Well, you never know.
Exactly.
You're just making like an assumption, right? It's okay.
Exactly. I'm not hard saying it, it just looks puggy essentially.
No, exactly. Well. Yeah, I think if people are going to get upset about that, it's like, well, yeah.
Do you think they'll do that sort of any restrictions like that? Maybe let's just talk about the NA and South America stuff, because that's always been an issue where I think even my name is, or how I don't pronounce that name properly. Jeff is going to kill me one day. He's just going to be like, pronounce it properly, fucking Josh, okay? He's going to whack me in the back of the head. But he talked about it with, I think it was like, I forget the team. It was one of the Brazilian teams of like, it was like The Last Dance, also like, the Fall and stuff like that. It was like old good players traveled to NA to try to qualify for the RMR that way. They lost, but they made a big deal about it. Did we going to see that sort of stuff where they will hard separate South America and North America in some sort of way?
I'm not actually too sure about all that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends what's happening in the region. I don't think that will ever happen in Australia. I don't think these issues are like really.
Mate, they're gonna get a
that
visa
pressing
first.
for the Australia. Yeah, exactly right. So I don't know. They might have to make an ends then an Australian qualifier, cut us in the middle. But I'm not too sure. I guess if it is an issue and people think it's unfair, then they deserve a response, and then maybe it will happen. But not too sure. I guess we just have to see what influence and impacts it has. But I think 2 players on the team, like, surely it doesn't make. Surely you won't just come over and just dominate the whole region. Like,
exactly. Like I agree as well. Like, you know, if that team's not gonna be long term,
but it is big. Yeah.
Like if that team's not gonna be a long term domination, like eventually it's gonna go away because Valve's essentially gonna get enough teams in the Middle East, like your Shijahalas and whatnot, where they'll be like, okay, we don't need you guys. We've got enough teams to Asia Armar. We only have close qualities, and that's it.
Oh, that would be. I don't like the direct invites. I like the open qualifiers. I like the chance. I think the element of like not knowing is good. The mystery is good, and the fact that there can always be that run. Yeah. And the reason why it is a Cinderella run is because it happens like 1 in 1,000. It won't happen all the time. That's what makes it good, and that's what makes it entertaining. For me personally,
I do agree with it, but I guess Valve's gonna think of a bit of a different direction, and I probably agree with them on that when the major isn't the big tournament. But anyways, I gotta say with North America and South America, for my opinion on that. Is that if a team's
what do you reckon?
If the teams in the NA region is playing in ESA, NA, or leagues over there and stuff like that as well, that's specific to the NA region from South America, let's say MRBR, for example, they're playing in NA, then they would be able to go through NA for the qualifier because they are showing some intention that they are staying in NA.
They're playing in the region.
Yeah, and if vice versa, if you're in South America, if a North American team goes to South America and plays there, that's fine as well. But it's when the teams just go there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think they should just be I think it's like, sorry guys, go to South America because you guys are just here because the NA scene is easier as per se.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. I think that is like well said, and it makes sense, right? You can't just come for the week and be like, yeah, we're here. Yeah. I feel like you should be in the tournaments. You should be in the grassroots of the region. I know, trying to get better, playing in events, and actually contributing. Yeah, you can't just come in the qualifier, the major. Yeah, I think Also, I agree with that.
Also, I'm going to say the Asia CS in particular. Geez, what an RMR that was! Like Atox being eliminated, Tyloo being eliminated. I'm going to say like
nuts.
I got to say overall because I think I've said this on my co-stream as well, but I disagreed with Elvish Guy and Blair being like Lin Vision's a wasted invite, and I'm like, I don't think so. Like I think they've got a bit of.
They qualified last season, right? Like
they qualified last time.
They went to the major.
Tyloo took their players though. Tyloo took G and Tyloo took Starry. Like Tyloo bought out Starry and G, which was a large part of why they made it. And they said it was a wasted invite because they felt Tyloo was better. But I'm just sitting there going like, after the showing they almost put up to Na'Vi, I'm just like, no, I think Lin Vision's going to trouble the Asian RMR quite a bit.
Yeah, possibly. I haven't kept up too much with them, but I was impressed with what I saw even at the major. And the Asian RMR I'll watch this one when it happens, but last time it was pretty bloody impressive how they played. When did they play Na'Vi? Recently, right?
Yeah, Na'Vi played in ESL Pro League yesterday.
Yeah, jeez. Was it yesterday, the match?
They put them to OT, basically, on Dust 2, and then they lost in normal regulation on Ancient, I believe.
I see it. 16-14. Dude, that's insane, actually.
You know the worst part? They had opportunities to win. They had map point.
Of course. Oh, really? Jeez. That's stuff. The second map, that's like a tilter, but the first map, geez, that's pretty bloody impressive. And Na'Vi are one of the best teams in the world. There's no question. That's sick. That's sick. That's exciting for the RMR. Yeah. Surely that would be good.
Also going to say for the Asia RMR as well, I still think it's between 5 teams. Okay. Okay. Can I
Who's in it now? Let me get that up.
The Asia RMR, I believe, is Talon. Drillers is one of them as well. Talon, FlyQuest. You got the close qualities, which is obviously Lin Vision, Mongolz. Red Adam, Drillers, Alter Ego, Talon, and GR. I'm going to say right now, I feel this is still a 5-team thingo, like 5-team
Who
tournament.
do you think?
I think, I guess, as a free-to-go qualifier is going to be Mongolz, FlyQuest, and Talon. Okay, I think Talon are going to beat out Vision.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
I think FlyQuest can close out. Like, this is the funny part as well. There's a possibility that Mongolz and FlyQuest won't meet because they'll be number 1 and 2 seed. And if you qualify via upper semi-finals, you qualify for the major because the upper bracket
and they're
finals.
Fine, right? Yeah, exactly.
So they don't verse each other. Now, Talon is a crazy pick because that third pick is just crazy. It's just like everything's up.
Yeah.
Because you got Rare Adam, you got Lin Vision.
Anyone can qualify.
Yeah, but I gotta say the 3 teams I feel like are making the numbers. Well, 2 teams I would say is GR and Alter Ego. I feel like they're making the numbers, and then Drillers on the third. I feel like if you don't have a really good teamwork, as per se, long term, you're eventually gonna get found out. But it's gonna be a lot. Like if it's close between 6 teams, it's gonna be crazy. But I've got to say,
that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that the Asia RMR is the easy RMR. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I reckon the Asia RMR is just ultra competitive. Like, you got all these good teams trying to squeeze in a little box, and it's just like, bro, like you got to toss out. Like you're sitting there going like, you've got Mongolz, FlyQuest, Lin Vision, Rare Adam, and Talon, and like you got 3 spots. It's kind of like last RMR when you've got.
Usually we have 2. Yeah.
You got Mongolz, Tyloo, Atox, Lin Vision, and Greyhound. You're just like, oh yeah, pick 2 teams that want to qualify. It's just like, well, fuck.
Yeah, I think it is as competitive as it's ever been. If you look at the results from the Asia RMRs, it used to just be a sure thing. Like Greyhound would qual always, and then who else was it?
Tyloo.
Like Tyloo, they'd always qual. Yeah. Now it's like who is gonna qual? That is competition. Everyone's gotten better. The region's gotten a lot stronger. Yeah. I think it is very competitive. Like you can't look at this and be like, yep, that team's qualling, that team's qualling. You don't know because of what happened last year. Yeah. And like that's exciting. I think that's good.
I think the crazy thing as well, because I was talking about in my article when people were going, oh, Greyhound's lost, it's over, the team should disband. I'm just sitting there going like, bro, this is the first RMR that's actually been competitive. Like the last RMRs, I looked at all of them as I was writing the article. Like, it was just who's comes first, Renegades or Tyloo. That's literally the RMR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think people that say that, it's just like a reflection
reaction, rage bait,
how
like
they
that.
think, their brain, because it's just like if you actually say that and you believe that after the history, you are dumb. Like that's all. There's not much thinking going on there. There's no critical thinking. Yeah, you just need to think past the surface level for 1 second.
Because I remember the major where like Renegades and Tyloo just cruise through the Asia minors, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I'm just like I'm just like they never had any trouble with it. But anyways, let's get to the next one, because you talked about this as well, of the open quals, the topic. And will the open circuit actually become more open? Now, obviously, PGL announced a lot of tournaments, and they elected to just literally say to the Valve, invites. Now, obviously, a lot of tournament organisers coming back in. Obviously, Perfect World's coming back in. Starladder we're waiting on as well. ESL we're waiting on as well. We're waiting for everyone to launch their bids, basically, for as well. And everyone's trying to be, everyone's trying to be the main character. Everyone wants to be the main TO. And PGL release in particular, like one thing I want to highlight as well, that with some of their qualifiers, there are none. It's just straight top 14 teams on the Valve ranking, and then the top 1 or 2 teams from certain areas, depending on the tournament and whatnot. And I saw Foreign, because Foreign, I'm a rare Australian that Foreign and Richard have not blocked.
Foreign.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's because
he blocked me because I liked a tweet.
Anyways, with Richard, I had to defend him from some psychopath, so he followed me for that, which was good. And I do talk to Richard a bit as well. But and I really appreciate both of them in particular. But he mentioned as well that the open circuit's going to become less open, where teams are just going to rely on that Valve ranking. No open qualifiers or closed qualifiers, because fuck running those, because they cost money and you just want to run a big tournament and that's it. Is the open circuit just going to become more closed, where the top 14 teams are just recycling the spots because they win here and then they get back in again? Kind of like, I would say, Blast circuit to an extent, where only the teams that get straight invited will constantly recycle themselves on that global ranking because they're getting invited to Blast events.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Or are we overreacting to it? Are we just reacting to the initial burst, being like,
I don't like that idea. I don't like the way they're doing it for the reasons I said before. And it's just like, you can invite some teams, but you have to have at least 2 spots, 1 or 2 spots for an open qualifier. That keeps like competition thriving in regions. It gives teams something to play for. It doesn't just make things seem impossible. Like, okay, we got to qualify for this event. But we have to win all these other events beforehand, or like, we have to win our next 20 games straight to qualify for this event. I just think it's boring. Just having those invites. Obviously, the competition will be good, but I'm not saying have all the spots open qual, but like at least 1 or 2. Give other teams like something to play for. Have a bit of passion in that. It's exciting, those qualifiers.
Yeah, I guess keep that storyline open. Keep that storyline open, because like, for casters in particular, like, can you imagine how hard it is to build storyline when you're casting the same fucking 16 teams over and over again?
Yeah.
Like, they talking about this, funnily enough, on the ESL Pro League of the Louvre agreement. Like, it mainly in turns to EG, obviously, with fucking what EG were putting on the plate. Not very much, but anyway. But they'll talk about that in particular. Like, how do you really build a story when a team's not really putting anything up to the plate?
Yeah, well, exactly. It needs to go both ways, right? It needs to go both ways for it to be really entertaining. Like, I don't know. Well, good luck with that. That's all I say. Yeah, I don't know. Talking about like the quals, I think for quals to be successful as well, they need to actually have some effort put into them. I feel like the Australian RMR qual was so disappointing, like actually so disappointing. I'm glad that the admins sort of met halfway and tried to fix it and try to make it better. Like, credit where credit's due. They did do well there. But like, why did it need to come to that where they pushed it back 2 hours or something? They made it in the middle of a work week where 98% of the region works full time. Like,
I definitely highlighted this last week as well.
Stupid.
And I was trying to problem solve. I was being like, okay, so what's the big reason on why you can't move it an extra 2 hours?
They're just lazy. Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was. Like, I'm not sure if it's laziness or like that. I just want to dig down to the matter and be like, guys, like, we got admins here that will, help you guys out. Even the challenger mode admins were like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll, do the extra 2 hours. We don't care. I could understand for the first open qualifiers because they were running the EU RMR at the same time. So that's a bit more important. But
like, why should our region suffer fully? And I think it's like, maybe it's not laziness or it's not intended, but it's like they obviously didn't care and they didn't do any research into preparing it. And that is like, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And that did happen. I don't know. We can talk about that all day, but that was just a little touch side note, just like extremely disappointing.
Like make the open qualifiers like be something and not like just an afterthought. Like, we'll just get your random teams in the local area and that's
exactly. That we didn't matter to them and we don't matter, and that was like shown so clearly through how they ran that qualifier and how they run the previous ones as well. It's just an afterthought, if that.
Yep.
And it's just like, I know. I
think overall it's more of a. It's not like anything in particular that will. There's only a short-term impact because at the start, it's only because only 3 teams in the open qualifiers were seeded, which was your team, which got number 1 seed by some fucking stretch of imagination. Okay, I don't know how. It's clearly Monitor was in the ears, being like, "Give us 500 points." Monitor's gonna be like, I never did that, Josh. Never did it. Confront me in the middle of DreamHack Melbourne, be like, you never said that, mate. You said. But anyway, like stuff like that, I think it's gonna be a short-term thing because eventually Talent and Semperfi are gonna get Valve ranking points, and this is not gonna be an issue to be seeded 1 and 2 or away from each other. And I think it's just more of a teaming of the Valve system at the moment because they haven't got much data on CS2. It's their first year. But once that ranking's in full swing, I think it'll iron out a lot of issues in particular. But the main concern, as I said before, is that this other one of everyone wanting to be a tier 1 tournament, I think that's going to ease out as well, where some TOs are going to realize that they're going to have to organize tier 2 tournaments because some teams are just going to avoid it.
There's a market.
Because like when you have PGL, Blast, ESL, and all that jazz putting on tournaments and potentially at the same time as well, because that calendar could be full.
Pick and choose.
They can pick and choose the tournaments, and you might get some teams that 15 or 16 might get an invite and whatnot as well. That's why I argue that it might be more open circuit, or Tio is just going to realize that all the top 16 teams are just avoiding their tournaments and just be like, fuck it, tier 2 time, let's go. Like your CCTs and whatnot.
They're fun, those ones, yeah. Who knows? I think there definitely is. There's a market for all those. As a TO, you can be successful and run purely tier 2 tournaments, and I think that is really good. You just have to care and put in effort.
Or be in Europe.
Yeah, or be in Europe. In Australia, it's like, do we have a tier 1 and 2? I don't know. Yeah. I think it just comes down to that.
So I think overall, like a lot of people like criticize about rankings harshly. But I'm just gonna say it's because it's just teething issues at the start. I mean, I know FlyQuest were very critical of it at the start because I think it was like Vertex and Rooster. I think Rooster got an invite to Kato over FlyQuest. And I'm like, that's just teething issues.
The reason why FlyQuest suffered was because they were playing all these international events, which there is no question were a lot more competitive than just say a CCT or even a Cash Cup. And they were getting punished nearly by the Valve rankings for playing in those events. So they'd come like lower on the standings. They wouldn't get any points, but the teams in Australia would play like CCT and just get so many points, or even in some instances play a Cash Cup and get triple what FlyQuest get when they play international, and it's like they're playing at Katowice or like DreamHack, and it's like, does that make sense?
That was also brought up by Traffic Teshket as well for the major when OCE only got one spot. It's like, bro, they didn't even play internationally. The same conversation came up as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that is a fair thing to be annoyed about, but
it is. It's very.
I know you're saying as well, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I think overall, like there's a lot of rabble rousing, and a lot of people on Twitter, particularly when they want engagement and stuff like that, they rabble rouse quite a bit. And then when you call them out for it, they're like, "No, I don't want to rabble rouse. This is a serious point," and try to maintain the integrity. I'm like, nah, you just rabble rousing, right? It's obvious. You're trying to get some conversation going.
Yeah.
I think overall, some of these TOs in particular, because I know PGL's offering a lot of money. I assume Blast and ESL offer a lot of money in particular as well. I assume some of these teams are going to realize at some point, or not teams, some TOs, that teams will pick specific tournaments over the other, or won't go to specific tournaments. I mean, PGL's got some in South America and stuff like that as well. Serbia, I can imagine a lot of teams just go to that tournament in particular. But I think like the Sao Paulo ones, that's in Brazil, I believe, and Buenos Aires, which is in Argentina, that some teams will just avoid that altogether, and then another team gets a chance. It's like coming to IM Sydney, for example. I'm going to say, I think
it's too far.
I think some teams, even to DreamHack Melbourne as well, some teams may have not enjoyed that trip. We obviously know that, I think it was Phelps didn't enjoy that trip because he tweeted it out. But yeah.
But no one likes being on the plane for that long. And it's like, it's the reality that if you're going to come here from Europe, you're going to be on the plane for that long. And Australians always have to do that trip. And that's sort of the joke. It's like, well, we do it every single time we go to any event.
Yeah. Definitely. I do
but
it
it sucks.
every winter, every summer, man. When I go to DreamHack Winter, I do that trip. I'm sitting here on my Nintendo Switch on my Mario Kart and then trying to not micro nap to adjust the time. So this is me.
Trying not to die.
This is me, James. Like on the airplane playing, Mario Kart. I'm just like this.
Oh yeah, the little fall downs and you wake up, you're like shit.
Trying to adjust the EU time zone, every time I get the Yosha ping for DreamHack Winter, it's like I need to stay awake till like 8 o'clock, okay, to 9 o'clock, to 10
so you
o'clock.
Nuke yourself the next day. Just like or like the week, you just have the worst sleep schedule.
Yeah,
I think it sucks, but like that is what's gonna happen. It's just. Yeah, teams, it would be too detrimental to be traveling too many hours each week or each month, and it just builds up and adds to fatigue. And but I think that will happen.
Let's get back to an open topic. Do you think the open circuit will be more open? I think the first year in particular, it'll be less open. It'll be like a lot of top 16 teams trying to keep their ranking high, like a lot of desperation and whatnot. But I think later on, when the TOs realize which TOs aren't getting picked, for example, obviously PGL's offering a big package as well for hotels and whatnot, the 450,000 and whatnot, to try and keep everyone there. I think what's going to become the norm is that a lot of TOs are going to do that. They're going to be like the lovey-dovey package and then slowly wind it back because obviously you can't afford that much. But the ones that try to keep it up and get enough revenue to keep it up, they'll say they'll be the tier 1 tournament operator. Well, everyone else who have to scale it back a bit, stuff like that as well.
They'll drop down.
They'll become the tier 2. But I think this first year we very closed off, where I think the top 25 teams are going to be the ones only doing anything. And a lot of local TOs in particular will have to step up and try to keep that tier 2 scene alive, where they fit that niche where it comes in. And then later on, what's going to happen is that the ones that try to go for glory, try to go for the tier 1 scene, they'll probably scale back to tier 2 and have like one-off tier 1 tournaments later on. And also as well, from a talent perspective overall, it'll actually be really good for talent overall. On that, but at the start, I wonder if it will be that closed off as talent, where it will just be the same talent over and over again, or will we have a lot of different hosts being introduced as well? Because we got in CS in particular, the scene, you've got a lot of great hosts, you got a lot of great analysts, you got a lot of great casters as well. And I feel bad every time, when an ESL Pro League comes up or another tournament comes up. I know the talent probably don't feel bad, but you miss a player, you miss an analyst like Yenko, for example. You miss an analyst like Maniac, for example. Or you miss an analyst like Pimp, for example. Because I love Pimp, because Pimp's always very honest. And even if he says, even if he's wrong, he's always, take down the chin and stuff like that as well. And I really love Pimp as well. Because he takes on a lot of hate for fucking, Pimp gets hated on for no reason, if I'm going to be honest, okay?
People just like talk smack.
Yeah, I know.
That's honestly a lot of it. I don't think he's done anything inherently bad, really. It's people just like talk shit.
Yeah. Also, I
say a lot of reality.
What sort of, do you agree with that premise of what I said, or do you think it's going to become a lot more open a lot sooner? Because I think it's just overall in the long term, let's say a year goes by, it'll be a lot more open than what it was previously.
I think what you said makes sense. I think it will just be sort of exactly trying to grab as much as you can, all the TOs. They're trying to pull players in, come to our tournament. But I think the outcome will be based largely on how much revenue they have to spare and how long they can last with their event, assuming the quality is really good for all these events. Obviously, some events, we'll see how good their events are from the start, because some of them might just get not blacklisted, but just drop down a couple of notches already, just due to. Yeah, exactly right. So I think we'll see after a couple of the events are run, see the results, because then those tiers and events are more likely to become the tier 2 ones or tier 3 ones, because players will start skipping them, especially if players have options and lots of choices to pick and choose. They will, without a doubt, just be like, no, we're not playing that one again. I remember that one.
Yeah.
They put us in a horrible hotel. We all got food poisoning. We're not going back there. We traveled 20 hours for that one when we can go to one that's 2 hours, 3 hours away. We're just not going to that one. I think it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. We'll see what happens. I think what you said made a lot of sense. And I think it logically should sort of pan out like that. I think the open circuit being closed at the start, that might be an issue. I think it might be. I'm concerned, but I hope it won't be. I hope it does well for the scene overall. I just worry about what the OCE.
Oh, I'm going to get to that. I'm getting to that right now, okay?
Yeah.
Do you think a league system will be possible in this sort of setup come next year? Because obviously the Australian League's coming up for renewal in December. Do you think, I gotta say, I'm confident they will renew it, but will that setup be possible going into the future, obviously, as well, of the ESL Pro League? Because all these different TOs are just launching these big one-off tournaments. Would ESL do the same instead of just running ESL Pro League and running their leagues?
That would be lame. That would be lame if they did that. It's like ESL Pro League is such like a benchmark. It's like something to strive for everyone around the world. That would suck if they just got rid of that. Do you reckon they'd like get rid of the Australian one as well? Probably. They'd get rid of all the leagues because like otherwise, what would we be playing for if we're not getting invites into
I'd say
Pro League?
overall they could make it a tournament, of course, as well over time. Obviously, it depends on the Valve rankings. It's a very complex circuit to just basically work through for a league setup. But obviously, they'll probably be in conversation as a Valve in particular. But, it could be possible they just yank the entire system. Or just make it like a global challenge. The OG days of the ESA Global Challenge, where they just have the winners of everything like that cool. Come to one event if it operates in Valve sort of standing. Because they could be like, yeah, it's open qualifier. Just treat the leagues as an open qualifier round robin sort of thing. Or closed qualifier round robin. Have those teams play. But then the worst part is like, what do you build outside of it? It's a hard thing in particular to really gauge for. I do like the Global Challenge coming back. I remember when Ed's playing for Order, when he went over to versus EU United.
Global Challenge, cool.
In NA, I remember that, and Ed's clutched a 1v3, and I'm like, it's. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting one. How what do you think about a league system? Like, do you think a league system can survive in the 2025 and onwards under the Valve rankings?
I don't know. I think league systems are so important just for everything. Everything. It's so important for the development of regions, so important for the development of talent for teams. I think it would be really detrimental if leagues were to die out. That would just be tragic. And I feel like we would see an overall quality drop. Especially for like regions like Australia. It would actually just be horrific. I'm sure there would be other tiers in Australia that would, I'm not sure, but hopefully that would like pick up the slack. But there needs to be leagues in regions like Australia because we need to have officials. We need to have time playing under pressure. We need to learn from each other. We need to have matches to review.
I think they can fit it under. They can fit it under, like, the wildcard tournaments. Not the wildcard tournaments. There's a lot of conditions they can fit it under. That's like not a big prize tournament, so they could run that sort of stuff. But I'm not terribly too sure. I actually have to do more investigation and research into that. Can you run a league system?
Do you think it will be like FlyQuest, just assuming FlyQuest calls for everything, they probably will. Assuming FlyQuest calls for everything, will it just be like they're not in the league anymore if they're playing all these events around the world?
Yeah.
Like, do they just not play the league, or do we postpone it like we are for ESL?
I guess under the current system, I have no doubts that the Australian system will get renewed for the league. I do prefer it a lot to be BO3. The main, even if I can't cast it, because I say it's at 4 p.m. my time, I don't care.
You and me both. Yeah.
But overall, it could be a much better product because EU is the only league at the moment for ECL that has BO3s. Even NA and South America and Asia have BO2s, by the way. So they should all be BO3s.
It's weird.
And I did suggest to Jacko ages ago to make EU a 32-team league instead of a 16-team league, and they took that on. And obviously, you can see what they did. They have a 32-team league now because obviously I just basically pointed out to them, just like, mate, EU has advanced, which is just ELO hell. You have like 64 fucking amazing teams, and like,
it's insane.
ELO hell, mate. But Australia, I'm very comfortably renewed because A, we've got people who cast the games, we've got coverage. B, people are very very driven to try to keep teams alive. Okay, like the amount of effort that was trying to keep, obviously DXA, you guys are playing out the season regardless, and if you get relegated, you get relegated. But the amount of effort that went into keeping Archon alive, with like they're trying to get Vers's thing overturned so they could get him to play, was immense. They were literally trying everything, and like, when they're at the Tether's end, they're just like,
that is good then.
Yes, unfortunately, guys, we have to, we don't have anything because I think Vers was tied to Sunday School and they qualified for DreamHack, so he was roster locked.
He couldn't play.
So he couldn't play. And they were trying everything like that, and obviously it didn't work out, and they're just like, that's it, because they didn't have the core free because Crunchy got his Valorant contract. Crunchy, man.
Young Crunchy, bro. That guy's been around.
Yeah. I remember when they were doing an open qualifier team, they had Alec, Jinx, Crunchy, Techstar, and I think there was the only
I remember that. Yeah.
the only CS player was I'm not sure. I don't think it was Tux actually. I'm trying to think who it was. There was only one CS player. And I was tempted to just put like Fortnite player 1, Fortnite player 2, Valorant player 1, Valorant player 2.
I'm sure they'd like that.
And Tex is like, I play Valorant 2. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just change your name to I played Valorant 2. Just to take the piss that he wanted to be a Valorant player.
Jeez.
But anyway, overall, I'd say I'm pretty confident Australia's league being renewed. And I wonder how this league system's going to run in 2015. I think overall they're going to be definitely examining like how they can run it, especially under Valve's rules. If they can run it as just ESEA rather than running as ESL, because if ESL hosts big tournaments and then try to host one by ESL, you can't do that because they're offering a big prize pool.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a rule in prize. Like if you offer like let's say $1 million, something like that. I'm trying to remember the number. Got the back of my head, but I think it's 250,000, something like that. If you have higher than 250,000, you have to use the Valve rankings. Regardless, you can't ignore them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can only hold like things like a few wildcard tournaments and that's it. But if they operate it via ESEA and Valve approve it, they could just do the leagues via ESEA, keep the prize down, give them invites to potentially bigger tournaments. It could create something like that as long as it's all legitimate, of course, as well. But it's a hard one to negotiate. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've got down for in particular. But with the league system, I'm confident that it will live into the next cycle. I don't think Valve want to kill their own game. They'll probably make some rules or update the rules if that's going to occur. Because even though Valve seem very hands off, they are pretty glued on to the scene overall. And I think a lot of people, when they don't see too much communication, they assume that they're not talking to them. Like, a lot of people look at Riot and how much communication Riot has. I just see with Valve in particular, I think Valve are very hands-off. They let the scene evolve. And if they need to come in, they will. And sometimes they come in too late. I mean, the Krieg change, for example, was they came in fucking ages late.
That was insane.
But there's some things that they came in right away, and it's like,
the snap tap, that was good, thank God.
And they're like, nah, let's not do that. And
they jumped through ban still banned.
Yeah, they are still banned. But overall, they've been very good for the scene overall. Now someone's going to call me a Valve shield, but I think they've been very good for the scene overall. Because I like hands-off approaches. You like to let the TOs do their thing and let players do their thing as well. Because there's the amount of people complaining about certain things on like a new map, and Valve just let them do whatever, and then people find a way how to counter it and stuff like that. It's just like, see, the map's not that bad.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be like, fucking Vertigo, mate. I'm like,
that map's good, man. People just haters.
We just know someone's gonna mention Vertigo. It's gonna be like, Josh, Vertigo's been changed 50 million fucking times and it's still a shit map. I love Vertigo. I love Skybridge because I think I was talking to Jinxie about it. Skybridge is my favorite spot because you can be that annoying prick that just crawls out Skybridge and not paying attention and just basically whack out 2 players at secret and deflying the bomb.
Bro, I love that. I love that bridge. Catwalk, we call it. So good. It's actually so good.
Well, like every time, like Jinxie said it was Skybridge. Like every time I remember Skybridge, you've been to Singapore before, and that Sky Train. It's called the Skybridge. I just go back to Changi Airport. I just go back to Changi Airport, and I'm just like, Skybridge. I'm being on the fucking Airbus to go to my terminal. Like I had to. So this is when I was going to Singapore Airport. Where I'll be going to Amsterdam. Okay. And I was at Terminal A because I arrived from Perth. I had to get to Terminal D, which is on the opposite side of the airport. And it would have been a 30-minute fucking walk with my bag, which is heavy, with my laptop in it, and my clothes and stuff like that. And I'm just like, do I walk 30 minutes? This is when I was not very that fit. I'm like, nah. They're just getting on that Skybridge and going.
Yeah. Why not? Zoom around.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it with the topics. Like, I've been really thinking about the open circuit overall and really thinking about like what sort of things to come out for and how it's going to end up for Australia, because it could be a point where if it's that closed off for that long that Australia's not going to see much action at all, which is incredibly disappointing. Because the biggest thing I'm worried about in particular, so of course EU centric, like basically CS2 is becoming very EU focused. Like a lot of top teams are in EU, and it could be everyone has to go there if they want to play. Alternatively, it could be everyone comes out and eventually rises everyone up as well. It's my greatest fear, but also at the same time, like, I don't know. It's just a lot of it's in flux, as you said. You just don't know. And
Yeah.
I'm confident that everyone's going to get their fair share. There's going to be a lot of tournament organizers and operators. And I think give it a year. Like, if anyone has a bad 2025, because of course you don't get much tournaments, I think overall just give it a year. And there's eventually like a CCT or like Starlad or another TO that will just run the tier 2 and tier 3 tournaments overall. And will actually try to fill that niche.
Hopefully. Hopefully it all works out. I'm sure it will. It always does.
And if not, Valve will update their rulebook. Like, if Valve, Valve have been pretty quick to update their rulebook to address any scenarios, like the one with CLG Red. They actually had that address that scenario very early on before CLG realized that they couldn't enter a second team to the major. But they do pay attention to it. Like, if they need to make leagues exist, I'm very sure they'll probably change that within a week.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Anyways, last but not least, where can we find you, James? Like on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch?
You can find me mainly on YouTube, I'd say. Twitter, my Twitter is Rufflecrow. My YouTube is also Rufflecrow CS. Go crazy.
Got it. I was thinking of chat. And YouTube.com.
Do you have them? Do you want me to send you on Discord?
No. Rufflecrow CS, right? It's all one word?
Yeah, I think so. Yep, that's it, yeah.
Okay, make sure.
And then YouTube's just Rufflecrow CS. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Did
I just shout out a link? It didn't work. It's a page.
I'll send you on Discord.
Page not available, mate.
I've been banned. I'll send you on Discord.
It's at Rufflecrow on CS. Okay, that's probably why.
Shit. No, you're all good.
That's probably why.
That's it. I'd say those are the main ones. Like, I don't stream as much these days, but yeah, maybe one day. Yeah,
you could do YouTube or you could do YouTube, Twitch, all of them. You could even stream to Twitter as well, because I got people on Twitter. I just try to funnel them into here because it's probably a lot better to just funnel them into here instead. But yeah. Overall, it's good for you to be on as well, giving your insight in particular and giving an interview of your entire history. Because I actually got an article of writing entire Vertex's history, of course, and where you guys started, which is where Mark and Larry started. Basically, is where it built up from.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty good.
So that's why I knew a lot of it in particular, because I'd be fucking looking at it. And I've made a highlight on the best friend. I've narratived that up. Okay. I can say my inner storyline, turned into a drama, which it probably wasn't even dramatic at all. It was just like, yeah, okay, cool.
No, I'm sure it was. There was lots of emotions in that team.
Yeah,
we were a team for like 4 years. Yeah. So you hope there would be.
I just remember that run in particular where you guys made it to the grand final to Renegades. And you guys lost 3-0. It's just like it was
sick.
It was so depressing. Like at the end, like it was so anticlimactic. Like this, beating Direwolves, beating your order. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was sick. That was sick. I remember that run.
Yeah, and then you guys served 11 to Renegades.
We got rolled.
Yeah, and Josh is like, yeah, I don't think so, champ.
Yeah, when we beat Direwolves order. That was MDL, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was MDL.
That was MDL. That was sick. I remember that event.
Anyways, guys,
so good.
What do you want to say to your fans before we go off today?
Oh, thanks for watching. Only Josh and TV. Follow Josh, subscribe, drop $1,000 donation to Josh. Tell him you love him.
Mate,
that's good. Thank you for watching, guys.
You don't have to give me money. Anyways, guys.
Thanks for watching. And thank you, Josh. It was good.
See you guys
later.
Have
a good day. Night.
Bye. Hey guys, what's up? So I'm back. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can. I'll see if I can split up the VOD. I'll see when it ends or whatever it is. So what is it? 1 hour 35. I'll actually make a mark in the stream. How do you add a stream marker? I forget what it is. Like a stream marker. Like add a marker. Where is it? Hmm. 2 seconds, guys. I'll get on to the thing shortly. You know what? I'll clip the stream here so I know that this is where I turn off the finger. But anyways, guys, we are gonna go. We're gonna go to obviously ESL Pro League in particular. I think I'm gonna go straight there. The main reason I'm just gonna go straight there instead is I just don't want to. Oh, it says not even live yet. Oh no, it is live. It is live.
Where people are floating above players and stuff. So who knows?
That happens, we have to use it.
Exactly, we have no choice. There's no rollback option. We have to play on this patch. So
Mac, I loved your aerobics earlier. That was amazing.
Did you all love it?
I like the flashbang.
Did you get involved?
Anti-flash.
So once you started with flashbang, I'm like, okay, I see what
There
you're
we
doing,
go.
but it's not very aerobic. And then you whipped out some genuine, what felt like real exercises. The donk slide.
The donk slide.
And
Made
that
it in
deep
there.
squat, the teabag.
Oh, the teabag was
You
good.
had it working.
Yeah,
You had it
that was
working.
nice.
I have a couple more ideas up my sleeve. So if any other
Okay.
teams,
Yeah, we're gonna shrink this a bit as well.
maybe there'll be a second episode.
Well, you want to
in.
grab the talent, maybe? Like, we can have a class all together.
The initial idea was to do it with you guys, and then FlyQuest just got thrown in the deep end. So I felt bad for
Respect
them,
to them.
but they got involved. They all got
Who
involved.
was the
see.
best player? Who would you rank the most aerobic?
Oh, Alistair.
Alistair, I was
Have
gonna
you, have
say.
you seen him with his shirt off? Anyone?
I've been in the sauna with him recently, actually. Yeah, can confirm. Yeah, we had a
Big
good
boy.
time.
Thank you for the context.
Yeah.
Is Craig, you still here, bro?
Context and that's
Is it time for viewer mail?
It always is.
Oh yeah, Craig's still here.
I don't know where that
Oh,
joke
how do
went.
I
Maybe
de-sticky
Jason
this?
just
I
put
unpinned
it in.
Ruffle Co's comment.
Again,
Yeah,
if
let's
that's
read-
all right.
let's
Yeah, let me
redo it.
re-record it, please.
Should we bring some up?
Do we have
Because
physical mail or are we reading off the screen?
We're
reading
I
off the
can't help if it's
screen.
the latter.
It's
Okay.
just digital.
It's kind of, they actually made it extra
I
big
can
for
actually
you.
read that.
But neither of these two are here right now.
And the rest, I don't think there anybody was. Why don't you eat the Norse soups and noodles as a snack and during the discussions? Drink Monster Energy instead of water. You're welcome. I don't drink water, so I'm already one.
You
step
just
ahead
don't
of-
drink water at all.
No, no.
I'm only on the Monster.
Really?
Puts a
consumption.
Monster
Didn't know that.
Energy in his Brita filter and has it with his
God.
morning coffee.
This is not medical advice.
No, it's definitely not. In fact, that
Why
was,
don't you eat
that
the
was
Norse
only
soup and
said
noodles?
in
That was a
jest.
nice little can.
During the discussion, I
opener.
guess because you need to heat that up. That's you need a kettle to do that. That would probably be why
Hey, we
don't
could probably
that.
have that organized.
We probably could. You're right.
Nor things? I've never seen them.
You've never seen the Nor soup?
Knorr?
It's like a pot.
Why we say Knorr? You say Nor
I
or
say
Knorr?
Nor because it's a silent K.
Are they just
It's a
like-
silent
I like to
K.
say it like I'm
Knorr.
Swedish, and I
Yes.
go Knorre.
Knorr.
Oh, Knorr.
Knorre.
Knorr. No, they are
That sounds more
tasty. We
Italian.
should start doing that.
I'm okay with that. They have
2
the bouillon
seconds,
as
guys.
well.
I'm just
If you
changing a
wanna
few
put-
things
if
on
you're
everything.
cooking,
Could you
and
say that
makes
again?
A bouillon.
Bouillon.
A bouillon.
Sounds better than stock, doesn't
Bouillon.
it? Stock cube.
Yeah, that makes
Bouillon.
cooking much better, much easier.
Yes.
I agree with this person.
What's this fancy word?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your mail. We will
Bouillon?
consume more product.
Bouillon?
We will definitely do that.
Oh crap! 2
As an
seconds.
Australian, I'm struggling.
Sorry. It's okay. We'll catch
I
you
just
up to speed with
realised.
the weird words.